Great to have your company. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of Time Out No Flop Zone. I'm your host, Boti, and with me, of course, is the coach, Joey Wright. We've got a lot to discuss, Joey.
A lot to discuss, but man, how we made it through a whole season.
We made it through a whole season, yeah.
Season.
And we've got 1,000 subscribers. We've got people that are actually watching us, which is pretty good.
We do, and so we need to get these sponsors on board, huh?
Yeah. Quick bit of housekeeping. Last week we had in the Joey's History Hotseat segment, which we have another one of today. we went with Moose. We were given Moose was Mitch Norton. I contacted Mitch Norton, and he's never been called Moose. But
it is a Moose.
Yes, Ian Robilliard.
Yes.
Ian Robilliard.
Yes.
Played for the Newcastle Falcons and for the Sydney Kings. Coached the Sydney Kings too. May have been while you were doing. You know when they were out of the league for a while. When they came back in, he was their first coach.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yep. Also, we mentioned in that Joey's History Hot Seat segment where we had the three categories were student, teacher, and professor. And when I said professor, you were trying to think of somebody called the professor. And I said, no, that's not part of the category. Well, we do have a professor in the past, a guy called Benny Lewis, who played for Coburg Giants and Illawarra Hawks back
I know
in the
Benny
day.
Lewis Jr. very well. I know Benny Lewis as well. He's from Indiana, actually, not too far from where I grew up at. But yeah, I didn't know that though.
Yeah.
Professor. They are super intelligent people. Both the son and the dad are super intelligent, so that's probably a good.
Why they get the nickname, right? Yeah. Well, we've had a bit of news happening, and I think it was interesting the reaction from Montrezl Harrell when he saw Kendric Davis again carrying on about why he was unhappy with Adelaide, etc., and Monster just basically said
he nailed it. He absolutely nailed it. Like there's no other discussion to be had. Do your talking on the court, and why is this nagging? Like we're men. We play sport for a reason. We play sport because we can compete on the court. We ain't got to compete on the microphone. I mean, that's where it should be at. I mean, I think far too often it's on the microphone, but do it on the court. Let's see.
Yeah, I thought it was a really excellent response because when I saw Kendrick bitching and moaning again, I thought, why is he doing that again? We're over it, aren't we? Let's move on.
Yeah, we're playing. We got a game coming up. Like, what we doing talking about that? So, yeah.
Speaking of playing, Sam Waardenburg won't be playing. He's had ankle surgery. I thought he'd had an ankle injury, but he has surgery. So, at this time, it's questionable as to exactly when he'll be back. That's a big blow for Cairns.
That's a huge blow for Cairns. A huge blow for them. We're looking for him to have another great season, and that'll offset, him and Jack together would have been a great combination, but we'll see what they come up with.
Yeah, this puts a lot more onus on Marcus Lee because I liked him in that backup position, but if he's got to take on more, then they're not quite as strong.
And he can do more. He's proven he can do more, but doing more consistently for the whole year without being injured is probably the key.
The good thing is we're in a new season because last season we got one wrong. And that was we looked at the blitz and everything that had gone before and said this will be the first time we don't see an import cut. Southeast Melbourne has cut Vrenz Bleijenbergh. I believe the reason was they had trouble saying his name. But other than that, or maybe his lack of defence.
I think his lack of defence was what it was. Josh Green is a defensive coach, and if you're playing for him and you can't play D and not even interested in playing D, I think if you give the effort, this guy didn't look like he had any interest in playing defense. So, yeah.
I contacted Simon Mitchell at the Phoenix to ask, who they have in mind to replace him. And he said, nobody's lined up just yet, but we're looking for a multi-positional playmaker scorer. So I think multi-positional playmaker scorer, that could be a 1, 2, a 3, or 4, or 5.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think they
I think he's got to cover.
I think they could use some help at any position and probably need just the best player available.
Yeah.
Hurst missing him is going to be big.
Yeah.
That's going to be big.
Yeah, well, I think that's where they thought Bleijenbergh might fill the gap, but
no.
Not so. And we see that Larry Kestelman is going to reach out to Ben Simmons saying, Ben, don't retire, mate. Come back to the NBL. We've got a place for you at Melbourne United.
Is that any different than the NBA reaching out to Ben and saying play for us? I don't think he's out of the NBA because he's not talented enough. He's talented enough. I don't think he's interested in playing basketball right now. He has some other interests, and maybe that's what his life goal is.
You think it's over?
I think it's over for him. I think, well, this is what I do think, all right? I think right now he probably needs some time away from basketball, and he's going to take that time away from basketball. I think like we all do, it'll be somewhere in there where his competitive nature jumps up and say, hey, give it one more shot, and then we'll see what happens.
Right. Okay, well, we're coming into round one, and quite apart from the fact that we've got that's if you're watching this on Thursday tonight, we've got Tasmania, Melbourne, which will be good. Tomorrow it's New Zealand, Brisbane, and then in Singapore, Illawarra's playing against Flamengo from Brazil, and also we've got Southeast Melbourne, Cairns on Saturday, Perth, Tasmania. Illawarra's playing against the NBA G League United teams, All-Stars in Singapore, so that'll be good. We've got the Sydney Kings playing against Partizan, Adelaide playing against Panathinaikos. We've got quite the start to the season, haven't we?
Yeah, what I do like about that is we got, the leagues playing different international teams all over the place at the same time, which doesn't give one person a whole lot of advantage. You know what I'm saying? Like before, when you'd send in 2 or 3 teams to America,
they're disadvantaged.
Yeah, they're disadvantaged. And I don't care what anyone says. Flying back, I've done it twice, and it's a tough gig. So this one's got a little bit of everybody playing everywhere, so no unfair advantage.
Yeah. Okay, so let's cast our minds to the season. It's impossible, but who do you think is going to be the champion, or maybe give us your top 3 or 4 teams?
Once again, let me say this: we're totally guessing. We have nothing going. I haven't even seen every roster, so this is not anything. I'm gonna go with Melbourne to win it, just because Dean gets to the finals every year.
You picking my brain
Get out of here! Get
out of here! For Melbourne United every year.
But you were gonna pick Melbourne, Illawarra, Cairns. You were gonna pick all of them. It don't matter. So I'll go with 1. Melbourne United, and then I'll say 2 is going to be a wild horse, and I'm going to go with Tassie.
Okay, well, the reason I like Melbourne United is Dean Vickerman. Not just the fact that they've got a great array of talent, which they do, you got to have that, but they've got a great coach. And that's why I also like Tasmania to be in the top 3 or 4 because of Scott Roth. And that starting lineup, the 3 imports, Josh Bannon, Will Magnay, that's as good as any 5. And there's some damn good starting.
And they're going to play hard.
Yep.
And they're going to be, obviously well coached.
The other 2 that I like for the top 4, this may surprise you, but be Illawarra. I think, again, great coaching, should get overcome whatever adjustments they've got to make with the new players. And then I can't really pick between Adelaide and Perth for who would be in the top 4 or who would be in the semi-finals at this stage. I'd like to see how they go, how Mason Jones goes. I mean, we haven't seen him, the new... he's played 1 game. He hit 7 of 10, and they were all 3s.
Let's see. That's dangerous, but you got to live up to that. But let's see. No, I think it's going to be, injury's going to play a huge part in it because so many lineups seem so close. It's going to come down to matchups and injury. I think they're all well coached, so I don't think it's any drop-offs there, so we'll see. Yeah,
but that's it right now, straight away. Cairns goes down Sam Waardenburg for who knows how long. And you want to bank some early wins. Yeah. Because down the other end of the season, when you drop a couple you don't expect.
You want to get those early home wins. Like it's early. It's important early in the season to get your home wins. You're going to drop some on the road early. You should, but getting those home wins early is important. Knowing that you're going to have some road losses, and then middle of the year to the end of the year, that's when the cream will start to rise to the top, and you'll win some on the road.
Cream rises to the top. What goes to the bottom? Who do you think is going to be on that last run?
Right now, once again, we don't have a lot to base on nothing. But I'm gonna go with Brisbane or Cairns.
Cairns?
Yeah, just because we're starting off behind them. Waardenburg to me is a huge piece. Like I think he's one of the better players in the league at his position, and you're starting off without him. And ankle injuries for big guys are different than ankle injuries for guards. It takes them a little bit longer to get back.
But you got Brisbane.
I'm going to go with Brisbane.
Yeah, I like Brisbane for last 2, but only because those 3 imports have to play well all the time. But we haven't seen a couple of the other guys, like we haven't seen Terrell Harrison and the other kid whose name I can't think of. They haven't had their full group out there yet. So, but Steve Nash, he's rookie coach. I think there's a lot going against them.
It's a lot going against them. And, you know, I'd like to say Adelaide for number one, but we just haven't seen, you know, them as a group yet. You know, I have seen Melbourne as a group and like what they have. But, yeah, we'd like to see Cotton out there with Bryce. And I think they have the best import contingent.
I think they're going to have Cotton out there with Bryce, Joey, because that could be the same guy.
Montrez, with Montrez out there. But I think they have the best contingent of imports. So I just want to see them all out there together.
Right. Well, we're going to come back and discuss our match of the round. We'll pick our match of the round later in the show. But now we're going to pop over to viewers' topics. And we've got some good ones, especially when we get to Joey's historic hot seat. Wayne Jarvis says, in light of the obvious increase in standard of the league over the last few years, do you give credit for the improvement in the quality of the Aussie players, or are we getting better imports? Both.
Both. Well, this is what I don't think Australia's ever given U.S. credit for, or the imports here. Like, the imports here make the Australian players better.
Yeah.
They raise the identity. One, they show different, you know, ways of playing the game, the more athleticism, and then younger Australian players aspire to be like that. They train that way. They start developing that way, and they've just grown. It's no question at all whether the Australians are better now than they were when I played in the league. It's no question. So I think that comes from the Americans, and I think we got to give more credit for it. We need to have an American Day in the NBL. Why don't we celebrate the imports for...
So everybody has to spray paint orange, have a little bit of an unusual hair. American Day.
That's not American.
But I like what you're saying, because I think back to the days when the Gaze family in Melbourne lived at Albert Park Stadium, and there would be these pickup games being played by the Americans all the time. Andrew Gaze would be going in and playing pickup games with all the American players.
Yes.
And then who turns out to be our greatest NBL player? Oh, Andrew Gaze. Is that a coincidence? Yeah.
There wasn't too many Aussies there, but he was definitely there every day.
Yeah. Okay, that question leads him to ask a second one, which is, would any of the great teams of the past still be competitive today? And he said, this is put direct to me, I'd be disappointed if you don't rate the Loggins, Green, Richardson, Matterford, Mighty Bearcat, Barnstormers highly. Well, I do. That's the 1982 champions. And in that era, in that year, they were absolutely a phenomenal team. And then we've got the 1986 Adelaide team in its era, phenomenal team. Your own 2007 Brisbane Bullets. But if you take those teams out and move them over here and drop them in,
none of us in top four.
No,
we're not even in the top four.
No.
Like it's, you know, I'd love to say it. I mean, you know, people, is it 2017 one of the best teams, or is it the Invincibles one of the best teams? And people can debate. The Invincibles were the best team in their era.
No question.
And we were the best team in our era.
Yeah.
And now somebody else is the best team in their era. There's no way we could compete with them, just like I think our 2017 would beat the Invincibles.
Here's the other thing another point to that. If you could take those teams somehow with a computer program or something, and sort of say we're exposing these players to the sort of training, nutrition, mental health, everything that players get today. Now, would you be able to take that group, say your 2007 Brisbane Bullets, would they now be competitive if they were in this environment from day one, as opposed to 20, 30 years ago?
But you can't ever stick them in this environment. A lot of the development is over time. So you're taking a 8-year-old kid that's watched the NBL in the last 5 years versus your kids watched it back then. And the kid now has different expectations. They're training different. And so I just don't, I think it's too hard to do.
What about players, Joe? Could you see like a Leroy Loggins, who's to me still the best player that we had in the NBL? Could he today survive in the NBL?
100%. And this is why it's different with players, because if Leroy was playing now, his knowledge and his ability to play the game gets better with better players. Anytime you got a great player, they get better with better players. And so Leroy, you can stick him in a group of people that's making decisions at a high, quick level. That's only to his advantage. You know, put him with other athletes where you can't just focus on him. Because, you know, think about it back then. People were running 2, 3 people with Leroy sometimes. You playing him one-on-one because you got other great players around, he could play. All those guys. Drew could play. All those guys.
Okay, Ballaholic, who's a regular, and thanks for coming in again, says, can a player's stats be misleading? Oh, That's for sure.
100%.
He says, Kendric Davis, for example, led in assists. However, if you watch the games, he should have had double the assists. I saw a lot of selfish basketball and poor shot selection, sprinkled with finding his teammates occasionally.
Yeah, agreed. 100%. Yeah, the stats can be misleading. And also, just because you have good stats don't mean you're a good character. And good character win games, not just good stats. So you got to be both if you want to get to the high level. Just think about this. If that kid had his head on right, we wouldn't even have this discussion. He'd be in the NBA. He's that good.
Yeah.
He's that good. Same thing with Jerome Randall, and the other Randall that was here.
Yep.
If the character was there, they're in the NBA. They're that talented.
Okay, moves on to the NBA point guard debate. It's usually Stockton and Magic, and deservedly so. However, who do you think gets overlooked? He's saying, I think Steve Nash. He could shoot, pass, dribble, run the offense.
I was overlooked. He won MVP twice.
Yeah.
He's not overlooked.
I think he's saying he's overlooked in the conversation. It's a bit like when we have the conversation of the greatest player of all time. Say Kareem gets overlooked or Wilt gets overlooked because we're talking Michael Jordan and LeBron James or something.
What championship Nash win?
Hey, what championship did he win?
Yeah, that's why he gets overlooked.
Okay. I'll tell you something, the Sydney Olympics, when Canada beat Australia in the opening game of the Sydney Olympics, which was a hell of a blow, Steve Nash, he beat Australia. This is 25 years ago. I'm sitting there in the stands with my pen going, this guy is unbelievable.
Well, they signed him 2 years after they cut me, and I was pretty disappointed until I saw him.
All right.
No, I definitely think he's a great player, but and when I talk about the best point guards in the league, I will put Nash in the conversation, but he's not. He's not there.
Is there a coach in the NBL now that if you were still coaching, you'd like to test your talents against?
All of them, to be honest with you, all of them. You see the stuff they're doing and whatever, and you just automatically do that. That's just part, I think, going from a player, because when I was a player, I would see somebody and I would just, I want to play against him. I want to play against him. And so as a coach, I think you do the same thing. You go, I want to match up with these guys and see what they're doing and see if, go for it. That, to me, is the fun part. So, yeah, all of them.
And Ballaholic agrees there are no scrubs in the NBA. However, are there some in the NBL? I think you're asking a difficult question for us to answer.
No, I don't think it's any compared to Australian basketball. I mean, I'll give you an example. I had a guy who worked over at St. Clair Rec Center, and he wasn't a big fan of Brendan Tees. It's like, he'd go back and forth. Brendan shouldn't be on the team, this and that. And one day we needed an extra, and he was there. I said, hey, why don't you come out and play with us? You can guard Teasy. I told Teasy absolutely torched him. And at the end, he had to come over to me and goes, yeah, it's a different level in it. And I said, yes, it's a different level. Mm-hmm. So you take guys that you think aren't ballers because of the position they're in or the role they're playing and play them one-on-one and see what happens. These guys can play. I don't think there's any scrubs on the NBL team.
Not now.
Not now. Yeah, before we had to
make
numbers
especially when you go back to the original thing. Yep. Okay, Mangles 22 says, with Ben Griscti's injury, the centre for 36ers is now shared between Humphries and Harrell. Is that not a hole to be plugged? Doesn't Cheatham come into that rotation too?
That's the beauty of Cheatham. Right? That dude can literally guard 1 through 5. Mm-hmm. So you are what you guard. You play the position that you can guard. Because if you take Cheatham, he can guard 1 through 5. All right, but you put him on the other end, not all positions can guard him. So he becomes a huge asset, and I think he'll plug the gap.
All right, here we go. John Wright, once again, has written to us. John Wright, who's a
JW, come on.
He's written to us.
Johnny.
And he presents Joey's History Hot Seat. This week it's not the nicknames, it's Name That Person. Okay, there's 12 of these, so it's just like a full roster.
All right.
Question 1. Which of these men has played the most NBL matches? Andrew Gaze, Tony Ronaldson, Leroy Loggins, or Mark Bradkey?
And I know the obvious answer is Andrew, but I know it's Bear. So
Tony Ronaldson, correct.
Yeah, Bear is my guy. We don't talk enough about him either. He changed the league in a way. He was one of the first power forwards that would kick imports' butts. The Bear. Yes.
665 games he played. Wow. One short of 666, which would have been devilishly good. Question 2. Which player has been the NBL's leading scorer twice, but with different clubs? This is in your era.
Leroy. No. Leroy?
No. More in your era of coaching.
Oh, coaching?
Yeah, during that time.
And he's with 2 different teams?
Yeah, he led the league in scoring in 2 different teams.
I have no idea.
Jerome Randall. He led the league with Adelaide in 2015-16 and with Sydney in 2017-18.
No idea.
See, you've just erased him from your memory. Delete.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, it's probably one of the stats I hardly ever look at.
Yeah.
Scores.
I think you might get this one. Who was the New Zealand Breakers player to win 3 scoring titles in a row during the early 2000s?
Bill Jones, shooter.
So close.
Who?
Kirk Penny. 2008, 2011.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, number 4. How many coaches have won Coach of the Year while coaching in Adelaide, and can you name them?
Well, I'm one.
Yes.
Should have been twice, but that's a different topic.
Gordy McLeod, if you're watching, that was a oblique reference to your win.
That ain't Gordy's fault, but
No, it's not his
Gordy
fault.
knows. Gordy knows if anybody knows.
So who's the other one?
I would say Ken Cole
You'd be correct.
and Monson.
No, the 2 would be you and Ken Cole. There's only 2.
Oh.
Yep. And I'm really surprised that Phil Smythe, given that he won 3 championships and was around the semi-final rounds a couple other seasons.
And he should have. I don't know who won in 2002, but if he didn't win it that year, that's the year I think he should have won it.
Yep. All right, this is question 5. Who was the first Australian to win the NBL MVP?
Drewy.
No, Ray Borner. Back in 1985 with Coburg Giants.
I would have said Drewy all day.
Yeah, yep. Now that was quite a breakthrough for Ray because we had imports were winning it all the time, and then suddenly he had this. He had his breakout
the trophy,
season.
huh?
Yeah. 6. The NBL's best defensive player receives the Damian Martin Trophy. Who won the first NBL Defensive Player of the Year and the last? The clue is one was from West Adelaide and the other one's from Melbourne United.
Leroy Shea.
Ray Wood in 1980 for West Adelaide Bearcats and Shaley for Melbourne United.
There's no way I was getting that first one.
You don't know Ray? He's pretty much at all the 36ers games these days, and yeah, he's a big fan still. He was part of the Invincibles as well.
I do know him. I didn't know he was a player though.
Yeah, a very good one. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He was. They only brought in the best defensive player in 1980, so he won it in 80 and 81, I think. But he should have probably, if they'd had it in 79, he would have won it that year too.
I never knew he was a ball player. He
For a long time, he had the record. No longer, but he held the record as the only guy to win best defensive and also have a 40-point game. There are not too many of them do. I mean, Damian Martin, pretty sure he never did. But then there were Terry Doziers and lots of other guys.
Are you talking about Australia?
No, I'm just talking about best defensive.
Leroy never got best defenses in the league in scoring?
No, he should have.
Wow.
An American won the first NBL MVP award. He's now deceased. Who was it? No, that's
yeah.
This is
guy,
history.
Yeah, guys that you would know the
Oh,
answer
no,
to these. Yeah, I have no clue.
Man was Ken Richardson.
You told me that too.
Yeah.
You actually told me that when we talked one day.
Yeah, he was a terrific player. You would have loved playing with him. Yep. Okay, question 8. Which 2 players have won the NBL MVP award, but with different clubs?
Leroy?
No. You love Leroy.
Well, I know he played at West and he played at the
Brisbane,
Bullets, so
yeah,
I'm thinking, that's a sure get.
Traps for young players, Joe.
Cotton will be the new one. Cotton.
All right, okay. These actually, when I give you these, you'll be annoyed.
Say that again. Read
okay. Which 2 players have won the NBL MVP award, but with different clubs?
Chris Anstey?
No.
No.
Okay. Robert Rose, he won it with the Magic in Melbourne and with the Townsville Crocs. And Kevin Lish won it with the Perth Wildcats and Illawarra Hawks.
See, I forgot he won a Illawarra.
Yeah, I thought you'd probably go, oh.
Yeah. And those were during my era, I should have known.
Yeah. Okay, this is a tough one, but you probably get it. In the 1987 season, so before your time, Andrew Gaze had the highest what of all time?
Scoring average.
Yeah, 44.1.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Question 10. Getting to coach NBL Grand Finals isn't easy. How many finals did the King, and he's referencing last week's episode on who was nicknamed the King, Ken Cole, how many Grand Finals did he coach in?
Every one of them?
No, you've been listening to Ken. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
I'll go with 2.
He's actually got 3. In 1983, he lost with West Adelaide. 85, he lost with the 36ers. 86, he won with the 36ers. Okay. 2 to go. We're nearly there. Who was the first player to win multiple MVPs?
The first player to win Leroy. If I say Leroy enough, it's going to be it.
Correct. Leroy Loggins, 84, 86, 87. Every championship
84,
went
86,
through.
87.
Yeah,
Wow.
every championship went through him from 82 till about 80 to 87, 82, 83, 84, 85.
So how many times he's been to the grand final?
A lot, because he was back again in 90 as well. That's a good question for another time. And your last one. Apart from being NBL players, what do these players, past and present, have in common? Joey Wright, Jack White, Jared Weeks, Jesse Wagstaff, Justin Withers.
Initials, first of all.
Correct. They all have initials.
And we all play basketball.
Yeah, they're all JWs.
We all play basketball.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a quick break before we talk about the match of the round. We're back, and we're going to discuss the match of the round. Which one do you see as the match of the round? We've got Tasmania, Melbourne, New Zealand, Brisbane, Southeast Melbourne, Cairns, Perth, Tasmania, Melbourne versus New Zealand. And of course, we don't have we don't have Illawarra, Adelaide, or Sydney playing this round because of their international commitments.
I like the Melbourne Tassie game.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah,
There are so many elements.
There's going to be 2 teams, as we said, around the mark at the end. So yeah, where's that game been played at?
And that's being played in Tasmania, so it'll be Milton Doyle's welcome home straight away, which adds something to it. And again, also shouldn't overlook Fabian Krislovic, who was a big role player for the Jack Jumpers when they won the championship. So there's that kind of little extra element to it, quite apart from the fact that we're seeing 2 of what we expect to be the premier teams.
Yeah.
So which way are you leaning?
I'm like I said, at home, I'm gonna go home early in the season with any teams. Just we don't know. We're guessing. So if I'm guessing, I'm gonna guess towards a home team.
Right. Is that the only reason?
Yeah, that's the only reason. I don't really have anything else to factor on. I don't know those rosters well enough. I haven't seen every player play on Tassie's team. Yeah, it's too much guessing.
You know
what do you think?
I'm the same. I'm only favouring Tasmania because it's a home game. That's the only reason. Because overall, I probably like United a bit more than Tassie.
I probably do too.
Because of the depth.
Yeah, I probably do too. But yeah, just early in the season. And
I'll tell you what I did forget to ask you. The earlier segment was when we were talking about who's going to win it or whatever. MVP. Who's your MVP?
Cotton. As long as Cotton's in the league, I'm rolling with Cotton.
All right. Well, I'm going the exact other way. Even though I haven't seen this guy play, so this is sort of out of left field. But I think Mason Jones, the guy that's replaced him in Perth, just about has to win the MVP, doesn't he?
You would want him to. He's going to probably have the most pressure of any imports ever come into the league. It would be most scrutinized. But yeah, I don't know enough about him.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Okay, that's it for today, and we're ready to go on 3. 1, 2. We're going on 3, Joe. On 3.
On 3.
1, 2, 3.